Okay, all right, sixth grade. We are just going to consider being all done with chapter 8 as of you turning in the review on Monday morning. So, peace out, chapter 8. We're going to go ahead and start 9.1. This is how all of your lessons are going to go from home. So, what I want you to do is go through this in the classroom this morning with Mrs. Wassam. As of right now, I'm doing this on Saturday morning. I'm not sure if I'm going to be Skyping in or something like that on Monday, but just follow along with this, and at any point, if you have any questions, raise your hand, and Mrs. Wassam will definitely take the moment, pause the video, and answer those questions for you. Okay? So what I want you to do every time when you start a math lesson on video is have your book open to the lesson that I'm talking about. So this is 9.1. You're going to want to have your book open to lesson 9.1, which starts on page 384. Okay, so have your book open to page 384 and have the copy of the notes in front of you that say 9.1 areas of rectangles and squares. It looks like this. Okay, so here we go. 9.1 area of rectangles and squares. The area, this is where you fill in the blank in your notes. Okay, the area of a region is the number of square units needed to cover the region. Right here, we have a square. It is 1 meter by 1 meter. I'm just going to fill it in so it's easier to see. 1 meter by 1 meter. This is evidence of 1 square meter or 1 meter squared. Okay? Now, my picture doesn't look like the squares are all equal. We're just going to pretend like they are. Okay? So here, we've got a bunch of these 1 meter squares, okay? There are 4 squares along the width, okay? And there are 6 squares along the length. If you simply just counted those squares, you would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 squares. So there are 24 square meters in this rectangle. Okay? Now, we don't want to have to convert everything or draw squares in every single rectangle or square or whatever we're trying to find the area of. So we're going to rely on some formulas when we're trying to find area. Okay? First formula we're going to tackle is the formula for the area of a rectangle. Okay, it is very straightforward. Area is equal to the base times the height. B means base, H means height. Whenever you see two variables kind of hugging right up next to one another without any operation in between, that means you're multiplying. So base times height, or area is equal to L, length, times width. Okay, so here we have height or width and base or length. Area is equal to BH or LW. Example number 1. The floor of a living room is 18 feet long and 15 feet wide. What is the area? Area. And here is your opportunity to work out this example right along with me while I'm doing this. So the area is equal to the length times the width. Plug in what you know. A is equal to, what's our length? 18. What is our width? 15. Okay? A is equal to 18 times 15. I'm giving you permission to use a calculator. 18 times 15 is 270 feet squared. Units absolutely matter when we are talking about area. If you do not put your units, you will miss points, okay? Because we have 18 feet times 15 feet, we end up with feet times feet. That gives us feet squared. If you do not include the squared in your area dimensions, you will be wrong, okay? Example number 2. Find the base of a rectangle if its height is 6 centimeters and the area of the rectangle is 84 centimeters squared, okay? So we're going to be using area is equal to B times H. In this case, we're given the area, plug it in. 84 centimeters squared is equal to the base. Oh, it says find the base, so that means we don't know the base. 84 centimeters squared area is equal to the base times the height. We're given the height. The height is 6. Okay, how do we solve for B? B is being multiplied by 6. We have to get rid of that 6, which means we do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we divide that side of the equation by 6. If we divide one side of our equation by 6, we have to divide the other side by 6 as well to keep our equation balanced. The 6 and 6 over here are going to cancel each other out. And I'll just put the units here just so we can keep track of them, okay? So 6 and 6 cancel out. We're left just with B equal to something. That's exactly what we want. And 84 divided by 6 is 14. Centimeters squared divided by centimeters leaves us 1 centimeter unit. So we have a centimeter, okay? So the base of this is 14. You can easily check to make sure you've done it correctly by multiplying the base that you found, which was 14, by the height that we were given, 6, and making sure it matches the area that you were given. 14 times 6 is 84, so we know we did it correctly. Skill check number 1, if you want some extra practice, go ahead and do 1 through 3. I'm going to walk through number 4 with you. It says if the length of a rectangle is 2.5 meters and the area is 3 meters squared, what is the width? So here we're working with A is equal to L times W. We are given area, so we plug that in. 3 meters squared is equal to the length we are given is 2.5 meters. And the question literally says, what is the width? So that is what we don't know. We don't know W, okay? W is being multiplied by 2.5. I need W by itself, so I will divide by 2.5 meters on both sides of my equation to keep it balanced. 2.5 divided by 2.5 will cancel out. W is all by itself on that side of the equal sign. That's exactly what I want. I need W alone. I do 3 divided by 2.5. 3 divided by 2.5 is 1.2 meters. Okay, so the width of the rectangle is 1.2 meters. If you want to check and make sure you did it correctly, the length times the width should give us the area. So we're going to do 3 times 1.2. 3 times 1.2 is, in fact, 2.5. We have solved this correctly. Now we're going to talk about the formula for area of a square. Area is equal to the side times the side, or side times side is the same as S squared. Remember, our definition of a square is that all sides are equal. Okay, this side is equal to this side, is equal to this side, is equal to this side. So when we're finding the area of a square, we just do the side, the length of a side, squared, the side times itself. Example number 3, find the area of a square whose sides measure 9 centimeters. Area is equal to S squared is the formula that we're going to be using. And so we plug in 9 for S. A is equal to 9 times 9, or 9 squared, which is 81. And because we are multiplying 9 cm times 9 cm, we get that centimeter times centimeter again, which gives us 81 centimeters squared. So our units again for area stay consistent. They are square units. All right, moving on, taking a look at skill check number 2. I'm going to tackle number 3 for you because it's a little confusing, but we can handle it. The area of the square is 225 feet squared. What is the length of one of the sides? What is our formula for area of a square? It's A is equal to S squared. In this case, we're given the area and we're asked to figure out what S is. Area is 225. 225 is equal to S squared. We need S all by itself. We need S equal to something. What is the opposite of squaring something? The opposite of squaring something is taking the square root. So we are going to take the square root of both sides of this equation to keep it balanced. When I take the square root of x squared, that cancels out the square root and the square because those are inverse or opposite operations, just like multiplication and division are opposite, and addition and subtraction are opposite. Now I'm left with S all by itself, which is what I want because I just want the length of one of the sides, and I take the square root of 225. 225 is a perfect square that you should have memorized at this point, and it is 15. Our starting unit was feet squared for area, so 15 feet is the length of one of the sides. You check that simply by squaring the side, okay? 15 squared is in fact equal to 225. We have done it correctly. Sometimes you are given shapes that are made up of several rectangles or squares. What you need to do in the case of an example like number 4, where you're asked to find the area of this figure that looks a little funky, okay, is you need to split it up into squares and or rectangles that you can find the area of each, and then add those together, okay? So I'm going to outline our main figure here just so we can see it clearly what I'm talking about. Here is the figure. I've already labeled it just like it is in your book. And we're just putting these dashed lines here. They're not actually in the original figure. We put them there so that we can identify some squares and rectangles that we can actually take the area of. So here, I have a shape right here. I have a shape right here that is the same on both sides, okay? And then I also have a larger rectangle down here. So let's start with the larger rectangle, okay? We know the base of this entire rectangle is 8 inches, okay? So the area of my pink rectangle is going to be 8, that's my base, times the height. Now what we need to do is we need to figure out what is this height, okay? Over on this side, we are told the height of the rectangle is 6, okay? We're told it is 6. Sorry, not the height of the rectangle, the height of this whole side right here. But this isn't necessarily the rectangle's height that I'm talking about when I'm talking about this pink rectangle, because my height for this pink rectangle actually only goes up to here, right? So what we need to do is we need to figure out what is this height right here, okay? We're told the whole height is 6 inches, okay? We're told this part right here, which is parallel to this part, is 4 inches. So if all of this together is 6 inches, because it's parallel to the side 6 inches, okay, and this part right here is 4 inches, how big is this part right here? Well, it's 6 minus 4. So this part is 2 inches. So this pink rectangle, the area of the pink rectangle is 8 times 2, which is 16 inches squared. Now we need to figure out what is the area of my 2 purple rectangles. Look at this purple rectangle right here, okay? We are given a base of 2 inches, and we're given a height of 4 inches. So 2 times 4 is equal to 8 inches squared. That's one purple rectangle. I have the exact same purple rectangle on the other side, okay? It's on the other side. It's right here, okay? So that one is also going to be equal to 8 inches squared. Now I need to add my 2 purple rectangles to my pink rectangle. Oops, sorry, that's another shade of pink, but that's okay. Need to add my 2 purple rectangles to my pink rectangle to find the final area. So A is equal to 16 plus 8 plus 8, which is equal to 32 inches squared. That is the area of that entire shape. Now, let's turn the page to page 386 and look at one last example before you're let loose to the end of this lesson. Skill check number 3, number 2. Here is the figure just as it is in your book. Let's split this into some rectangles that we can find the area of. We're going to find the area of this rectangle up here. We're also going to find the area of this rectangle down here. Those two are equal to each other, so I'm putting them both the same shade of pink. And then we are going to find the area of this rectangle inside here. Okay, so let's start with the blue area. A is equal to, what are the dimensions of my blue rectangle? Okay, the height is easy. The height is 7. It's labeled right here. So my height is 7. The base is going to take a little bit of figuring out. Okay, let's look down here. We're told the whole length of this is 16 because it's parallel to the top where it's measured, which is 16. Okay, here we have a measurement of 8. Okay, we are going to go ahead and calculate the length of this side based on the fact that this side right here plus this side right here is 16 centimeters, okay? We know this one is 8 centimeters, okay? So what is the length of this side right here? It's 16 minus 8, so that one is also 8 centimeters. So we just found out the base is 8 centimeters. 8 times 7 is 56 centimeters squared, okay? That's our blue square right in the middle, or excuse me, our blue rectangle right in the middle. Now, let's figure out the area of our pink rectangles, okay? Those ones are easy. We have the base and the height of both of those. The area of each of those is 16 times 3, okay? 16 times 3 is 48 centimeters squared. We have 2 of those, okay? So the area of the other one is also 48 centimeters squared. In order to figure out the area of the entire shape, add up those 3 areas. Area is equal to 56 plus 48 plus 48 is equal to 152 centimeters squared, and you're done. Practice with the first one, okay? Skill check number 3. Number 1, do a quick practice on that one, just so you know the final answer to that is 66 meters squared if you decide to practice with that one. Okay, that's it for this lesson.